just walk. This female that you heard just walk. Heard just walk. This female that you heard just walk.
An open microphone can be dangerous.
They hear me coming, I'm saying, better get your mind right. This ain't care city, that to me got great appetite. I'm up low, excuse me, ho, it's still not watch me work the flow. Ain't there, nigga, in the game to touch me, fuck the movies, yo, I'm ready for competition. I'm itching, bring your game face. Call it your honor, make the boy, just the game face.
Ritz crackers, apple crown, royale.
Real bitch, angry shit, rap to change the game, but yes, I'm calling on my lyrics, just because it's doing my flow, there's this attention, no comprehension, no feeling in my back, my business fast, and my heart's contracting the million, please don't be a bigot, radio full of trash, gotta clear my mind of independent, bitch, know I'm going hard, can you feel my pain, I need a witness, down and notch, I'm tripping, gotta get about my feelings, calm and
What up, Xavier?
Hey, I like this shit. Okay, last name Jim is the first name come on. Shit on that nigga, I'm okay, keep it 1. You can't deal with niggas or bitches, I said I'm coming. Won't deal with bitches or niggas, just be honest. God with me on the natural, yeah. First on the bottom, cash city, know I keep it live. She on shit, don't trip, no time to step aside. It's kinda crazy, even like he thought he's on a ride now. I ain't tripping, no freaking nothing. I'm on the mission, but because I need a couple pros. We in the video city, know what I'm here. I go, watch camera action, I'm like a killer in the studio. On the block, it's a new shape. Sitting pretty, not the city, trying to hurt shit. We don't probably do the one thing. In the club, on the table with a couple friends. That bitch, they can really take a couple rounds. I'm in the business for a minute, then I got around. No conversation, I'm waiting to turn the party out. I'm on the video, smoking the black and down. Hey, all the bitches on the dance floor. I'm trying to live such a girl, I hit it all time. Karma, baby, fuck you, hey, I turn out, watch out, club hot, in and out.
All right. Hey guys, hello. We're gonna give a couple of minutes, seconds, or I guess when I feel like it, for some people to
Log in.
Happy Friday, guys, TGIF.
Angie's watching. Hey, Angie.
Hey, Ange.
Take a shot? Okay, let's do a shot. All right. So we always start off our show with a shot
Of something.
So
today is what? It's Crown Apple.
Crown Apple.
And Malibu for the baby.
Malibu for the baby. Shout out to Upgrade Your Party. Thank you, babe.
Shout out.
Shout out. All right, shot. Here we go.
Why is it I can never do
Why is me, baby?
It's shot. Half a shot. I still drink half a half. It's just.
I don't understand. You a bartender and you can't even like take it like a pro.
Listen, I was really good.
Oh, you took a shot this time?
Oh, wow.
So last time he faked it.
He did take it. We didn't know what the afterwards. He was like, let me tell you what I really did. And I was like, really?
I sipped and I placed it right behind my laptop so no one saw. But this time I drank it.
You did.
I'm proud of myself.
All right. So let's get started. Okay. We're gonna drink some rosé. So today, hi Oliva. Angie.
Oliva.
Karen, hey baby girl. Okay, so why are we here tonight? Why are we here tonight? So many of you may have heard about the case with the little boy right here in South Florida. He was 2 years old. His name is Jordan Belliveau. I pronounced it right.
Yes, this time it's Belliveau. I was saying Belliveau and trying to read the.
I was saying
thing.
I was even putting the accent on it.
Yeah.
Belliveau.
Right.
Anyway, this young boy, he's 2 years old. There was an Amber Alert. Actually, it was happening when I was in California when I heard about it initially.
It woke me up.
Woke you up, right?
Yeah.
It was the Amber Alert.
It was my phone went off, the TV went off,
Yeah.
everything was going off.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
it was this young 2-year-old boy, and the mother was saying that she was kidnapped, and that she was going for, which first of all, that didn't even make any sense. I remember when I texted
the first story was
that she was walking and she was hitchhiking.
Yeah.
And that's the first story. She got into a car with a guy.
And I have my reservations about the man that she described.
Right, a stranger, and the guy punched her in the face, and she ended up.
Yeah, let's give them the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys the timeline of what happened. So, 2-year-old boy, his mother, who is 21 years old, she had told the police that the child was abducted by a stranger after a man had offered them a ride. Okay, so here's the timeline. So it started Sunday on September 2nd. Jordan, the little boy, he was reported missing to the Largo police by the mother. She said that she was walking in the area the night before when a man pulled up in a white Toyota Camry asking if they needed a ride. She said once she got inside the vehicle, the man punched her in the face and then knocked her out. She then told the cops that she later woke up in a wooded area all alone.
Give me a little time out.
Time out.
For a man to punch her in the face and knock her out for hours, he must have wind back, got a machine, cocked it, and said, boom, okay, for her to be knocked out for hours. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
That's okay, baby. I appreciate that. So then an Amber Alert was issued for Jordan. Investigators were urging residents and social media to share everything. It was a huge hype. Okay, so that was Sunday.
I already knew there was something wrong with that. Black men don't kidnap babies.
They don't even want their own children.
Right. As a stranger as it is, like you're not going to kidnap a baby. That just doesn't happen. So I already knew something was wrong with that story, but carry on.
Okay. Then Monday on September 3rd, everybody was still talking about it. He's a beautiful child. The child's foster parents then began speaking about it, really, really concerned. Then they noted that they were not certain whether the items were connected to her disappearance. So apparently, when they went even to the mom's home, they found some bloody clothes, which is when the police started to feel a little bit, clothes and toys, a little bit suspicious, David said exactly.
Right.
It felt a little bit suspicious about, what was going on. She said, it was from a chin.
A chin incident that he got looked at and got stitches already.
Right. She said that the man that had taken her, his name was Antoine. He was described as being around 25 years old and having dreadlocks and gold teeth. Okay,
Why
so that
black
was
man?
Monday.
Why a black man? You already know how America likes to treat black men, and she had to describe a black man's dreads and gold teeth. Really, sis?
Yes, I agree. That was a little much. But then, would it have been any different if it was white? That's a whole nother
conversation. More believable.
That's
more believable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you're right about that. Okay. So on Tuesday, officials released a video of a man at 7-Eleven. So they were believing the story. They said that they saw a man. They were looking at some footage. They were even asking people to take a look at their own cameras in that area to see if they possibly saw anything. Okay. Then all of a sudden, the search came to a halt because the little boy's body was actually found in a wooded area. I was crushed. I know Nancy called me.
I was sad because I'm like, I got the alert for this little boy, and I really thought they were going to find him alive.
You were hoping?
I was hoping.
I'm not going to lie. I was really suspect about the situation, so I was kind of keeping my opinions to myself because it just did not add up as a mom.
On Monday, I already thought, I'm like, mom has something to do with this. But yet, they didn't say that she killed the boy.
Right. Now, as soon as they found the body, however, the mother was very shortly thereafter arrested. She was charged with aggravated child abuse and first-degree murder after allegedly, and her admitting to it actually was even after. Like, I don't think she admitted it right away.
No.
But then she admitted to killing her son, she said, in a moment of frustration, which in turn caused the back of his head to strike an interior wall of her home. The police said in an arrest. After the blow to the head, the victim suffered seizures, and during the night, which led to further decline in his health, resulting in his death. Instead of getting help, however, the mother then took Jordan to the wooded area, which is where his body was found. On Wednesday, September 5th, investigators told reporters that the mother had admitted that there was not any Antoine and that she had, in fact, made up the entire story.
And inflicted the injuries on herself to make it look more believable.
Yeah, so the injuries that she had, she inflicted them upon herself, even though her baby daddy apparently was beating her ass anyway.
Good.
The foster parents then came on. They were devastated about the law. They actually had intentions on adopting the little Jordan, and they were extremely devastated about it. They were crying about it, you know, speaking about how amazing this little boy was. Mind you, this little boy Jordan, he was actually removed from the home back in May of 2018.
Right.
As a matter of fact, more than half of his life was spent outside of his home with the foster parents. Okay.
I feel so too.
Yes. They opposed handing him back to his mother, but a case manager from a state contractor advocated for the boy to be returned, and the guardians were overruled, according to the Tampa Bay Times. Now, this household, guys, there was a history apparently of domestic violence that reportedly existed. Jordan's parents, this is the little boy, the father was actually arrested for allegedly punching Jordan's mother in the mouth. But the father did have an alibi at the time, so he's been cleared of all charges. Now, the warrant said that the system, which we agree, definitely failed this young boy, which is some of the things that we're going to be talking about. I think I may have, I'm not quite sure if they're on yet, but we're going to see if we're going to have some of my social workers kind of tap in and talk to me a little bit about, you know, how that looks, what's going on with that. For as long as he'd been in the case of biological family, Jordan had allegedly been in danger, but there were documents that were released. So pretty much everyone was well aware that this young boy was being abused for a very long time.
Very troubled life.
He had a very, very troubled life.
He had his best life with the foster parents.
The best life was
I was
with the
reading a
foster
little bit
parents.
earlier that the father of the little boy, Jordan Sr., he was a gang member. There was times when he got shot in the driveway while the baby was upstairs.
Yes.
There was another story of how when the boy was living with the foster parents, they allowed him to be supervised by the parents during visitation. And the mother got into an altercation with another woman at a Burger King. They fought at a Burger King, and the woman, instead of trying to punch Jordan's mother, punched the baby in the lip. So Jordan has been exposed.
He's been through it.
Yeah, he's been through it.
He has been
The mother was supposed to be going to some type of counseling, and they don't even have receipts that the mother went to counseling, and that's the problem. And they still overturned. See, and still gave the kid back to the parents.
More issues. The father was actually ordered by the court to move out of the home because Simpson allegedly had refused to take Jordan to a shelter. The police, they had been to the home several times before and had noted that the parents knowingly allowed their infant son to reside in a dangerous environment. During this is a super unsupervised visit you're talking about on Father's Day at a Burger King last year, that they had a huge fight out there. The father himself in a driveway you had mentioned was shot.
Shot a few times.
Here's something that I actually found out. I'm not quite sure if you guys know about this or not. She's pregnant right now as we speak. She is pregnant right now as we speak. So again, what led to this little boy's death? Apparently she was frustrated, she said, overwhelmed with the frustration. She hit the little boy, his head hit the some kind of wall, got into a seizure, and she did what she did.
He was having continuous seizures. And I think that throughout the night his health was declining. Instead of taking her to the hospital, she just placed the boy where they found his body.
In the woods.
In the woods.
In
and
the
I
woods.
think that's where he died.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm wondering, do you think he was even dead when she put him in the woods?
He was not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
He was not.
I think he was on his last leg. I think he was on his last leg, and the mother, which God forgive me, I don't remember her name, which I don't care about that. The mother,
we're gonna call her
her. That's it.
I almost said the cuss word when I'm on right here. She probably saw her little baby, you know, on his last leg. And instead of like, you know what, let me take her to the hospital because she knows she would have got in trouble again, she placed him in the woods and then made this whole cockamamie story about how a black man took her and her baby, and y'all raised the rest.
Right. Yes, Xavier, she was very, very big and pregnant. Okay, so as I was kind of doing some, I don't know. I didn't get that information.
I watched a video.
But Xavier said that when he saw her walking into jail,
I saw a video of her. I saw a video of her at the court.
Baby in prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Great.
I saw a video of her
You know.
in the courtroom, and she did have a little bit of bump in her jumpsuit.
Yeah, I didn't
So sad.
I didn't notice that until I actually read it. So one of the things that I was really, really concerned about, or that I had questions about, is the social services, DCF, and just how something like this could have happened. What is our system looking like, or what is going on with our system that situations like these continue to happen? So, I reached out to quite a few of my friends that are social workers because I wanted to know. And one of the things that stood out for me was something is called the reunification process.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that do not know what that is, the reunification process is what they do. We have a definition?
Yeah.
Do I have the actual written one?
Oh, yeah, this
Oh,
is the website. So
okay.
The reunification is getting a family back.
So the reunification process, it basically means getting the family safely back together. It's almost always the first goal, and according to this, in the child's best interest. So for those of you that are wondering what I'm reading, I actually went through the Child Welfare Information Gateway, and I just got some information on that particular process. Girl, I got my receipts. I ain't playing with y'all today.
I feel some way about that.
Okay, so let's talk about the reunification process, right? So I then went to one of my social worker friends, and I'm going to pull up the text message to see. Shout out to us.
It's free.
Shout out to us.
She wants to say it's spirit so bad.
Why
It's
I don't
not
want to say
spirit.
spirit? Okay, shout out to us free. I had a really great text message conversation. I know that she has an event tonight, so she said she's going to try to log on. So I said to her, I had some questions for her, and I'm going to kind of share those questions with you because it might also answer some of your questions as well. So I said, can we talk a little bit about the reunification process? My question to her was, okay, so she said social workers get a really bad rap when our hands are usually tied, and legally we have no choice but to reunify even if we feel it is not in the child's best interest. So then my question to her was, okay, so who are the powers to be that decide that? She said that it is the Florida statutes and dependency judges. She says she has had several debates with dependency attorneys. She's bumped heads with judges because a child was reunited and there was no longer a perceived threat of impending danger. My next question to Esprit was, okay, so then what information do they use to decide this? Are they using the social worker notes? She says they do use the notes and also direct testimony from the caseworker, but also agencies that provide services to the parent or the child. If the child is of age, they may also speak to the child, which in this case, Jordan was only two, so we know that they did not speak to the judge, speak to the child. My next question to Esprit was, okay, so then what kind of things are the caseworkers documenting? Because I'm not understanding if these things are being properly documented. To me, it should be pretty black and white, no? Okay. She says, once a case plan is approved in court and the parent fulfills the requirements, it is very difficult to keep a child from being reunited with the parent, okay?
I get that.
I get that.
I get that.
So then my follow-up question was, what are some of the traditional requirements, all right? She says some of them are whether or not the parent is visiting,
right?
the nature of the interaction between parent and child during the visits, employment participation in required services, parenting classes, rehab, etc., such as that. She says caseworkers will compare notes with counseling agencies that the parent is also attending. Also, sometimes drug tests are administered at random in some of the cases as well. Police reports and calls are pulled and reviewed. So
that's why I'm confused.
That's why I'm confused. Because this is a lot.
I'm confused there, and I'm confused with the counseling because they clearly said that they didn't have receipts that the woman went to counseling.
Right.
So it was
and
her
the
word
judge
against the
still
judge.
overturned it.
Right. So my thing is, who is fact checking this shit?
Exactly.
Who is ensuring that all of these things are actually being done? She actually answered that a little bit. So then I said to her, so then where is the disconnect, Spree? Where do you think the disconnect is? She says that I think that because so many children come into care while there is a deficit in the foster care options, the state forces children back into homes too soon because there is simply no space or money to keep them in care. Oftentimes, because caseworkers are overworked, they put together cookie-cut case plans that really don't address the safety needs of the individual child. She says these plans look good on paper, but are not a permanent fix And this is why so many children are removed more than once from the same home. Then I said, well, interesting. So clearly this is something that starts with Congress. So what I then did is I actually kind of did some research on the actual steps as far as the funding aspect of child care service and delivery. So step one is, and I think it's important to kind of mention this as well because I know we're in election season, but step one, Congress passes and then the president signs the legislation that creates or amends a federally funded child welfare program. So that's step one. Step two, the Children's Bureau then provides guidance in response to the federal legislative mandate. That's the second step. The third step is then the Children's Bureau disperses the funds to support child welfare programs as authorized by the federal legislation. So I'm just gonna stop there because that's the whole part about the disbursement. Where's this money going? And what's happening? And why is it that we continue to have more and more of these cases where these women they lose their children for whatever reason? Absolutely, Xavier, the system is broken. The women are losing custody of their children. It's clear based on all the reports that have taken place, all the domestic violence in that household, that this is not a safe situation, but yet and still, we gave this child back to this woman, and now this child is
But the thing is, there's so many cases right now that mothers are killing their kids, and they just that easily just give the kid back to the mom. It makes me mad about that. You know. I
think my frustration is that the numbers. We're continuing to put numbers on human lives and children's lives, and we are not realizing the impact that it's having. We continue to make the same mistakes. So how do we change it? What do we do? I don't have the answers. I really want to know, what do you guys think? What do we do? Xavier said the system is very broken, both judicial and socially.
He's telling the truth.
Absolutely. What do we do? How can we stand up? How can we make a change? Do we go as far as the mental health? I know you and I kind of talk about the mental health of these young people. Do we need to maybe start implementing those things? You know, especially when we're dealing with women that are abused. I saw something on a chat, and the chat actually, it was a group, and the question in the group was, do you think that a woman should lose custody of her children if she is in a domestic violence situation?
If she continues to be with that person, yes, I agree. Because
I think that if the children's lives are in harm, then yes, obviously the children should be taken away. But I mean, I don't know, because I know a lot of women. I don't know a lot of women, but I've heard a lot of stories of women that get abused, but they keep that kind of in closed doors, and then in front of the children's face, it's like a happy, you know, go let me Disney World type of lifestyle. So
I think that if a woman is incapable of having her man from preventing her man from beating her ass, then I'm going to definitely question her judgment as a parent. Because if you can't even protect yourself, how are you going to be able to protect your kid? Protect your kid.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're not.
And especially once it starts hitting the police, like, you know, record and all that stuff, it's too much for the child. It's an endangerment for the child to be in a home like that. Now, that once the mother decides to leave that person, man or woman, okay, then yeah, keep your kid. But as long as you're going through a domestic, you know, dispute with your spouse or maid, whoever it is,
right?
I don't think that they should keep the kid.
Because yeah, it was clear that the mother, she was very angry and upset about the abuse that was going on. I actually have a little bit of a little story that I read about the mother and the in-laws.
Oh yes. You want to talk about that now?
Yeah.
You go ahead. Give me the tea. That was some tea. So Marcel has some tea. He did some research, you know, my little college student. He wanted to do some research on, I guess, family members and what, you know, they're questioning. I'll let you do it.
Give me a second. I have the article right here, but it's a doozy, so I have to find the snippet that it says. Okay, so
first, who was it that was talking?
It was so Jordan Sr., it was his grandmother, no, his mother and his sister. So the little boy's grandmother and great aunt. And it was I'm so sorry. I'm trying to find okay, here it is. So it's saying that the mother, she, him, and Jordan Sr. were arguing a lot. They were fighting. They were obviously being abused. And it says in an article that the father broke up with the mother in early July, and she told Jordan Sr. that she is going to hurt him like he made her. He's going to hurt her the same way that he hurt.
Whoa. Time out. Wait. I don't think I remember you. Okay, let me make sure I understand what you're telling me. So the grandmother said that she heard the mother. The great aunt said that she heard the mother stating that because of issues that she was having with the baby father, that she was going to hurt the child.
She's going to make the father hurt the same way that he made her hurt.
By hurting the child.
She didn't say that she's going to hurt the child, but she did say that she's going to make the father hurt, and that was in July.
So this may have been intentional.
I see what you're saying. It is intentional.
I mean,
it could possibly 100% intentional.
What I mean intentional as far as like premeditated, like in her mind. It wasn't like what she was saying where it was a moment of frustration. She knew when she got the little boy back, she knew, you know what? I'm tired of this nigga. I got you.
Maybe just have to talk about this
the last topic.
That a lot of women try to get back at their husbands or boyfriends. It's like the only way they can get back with them is by hurting their children, because that's the closest thing to a man's, it just hurt their children. It's repeatedly. It happens all the time. It's getting out of hand.
It is. It is getting crazy. It is getting out of hand. So, okay, so now she's being charged. Now she's in jail. What do you guys think that she should be, her sentence should be?
I don't want her to get death penalty.
No, neither.
I want her to
sit in jail your entire life.
I want her to have her child first, because she is pregnant. Have her child, because they're going to take the child, DCS.
Of course, they're going to take the child.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, she's in prison. Don't hurt her now. But boy, once she has this child, just rape her, beat her. I don't give a hell. Really?
And David says life. I agree, Xavier.
Yeah, life.
Yeah.
I don't, not death penalty. That's too easy. That's too easy for me.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of stories of women having babies in prison and keeping the babies in prison. That should not be her.
That should not be her.
It's clearly proven that she does not know how to take care of children.
Take the baby.
So take that baby. Do right for once in your life.
This is baby back to the same foster parents that took care of Jordan.
Yeah.
So give that.
That's so intense today.
Yes, because it's a baby.
Yeah. A beautiful black boy at that. You know how I feel about that. So take that baby and give it to a loving family that's going to take care of him and cherish him and love him and teach him how to be a respectable black man. And let her sit in jail and rot for the rest of her life and sit here and let her think about the disgusting action she did to the little boy and why she's in jail in the first place. That's what I think. Life. One thing that I'm really, what's up, Stacy? Stacy got, we're talking about Stacy a little bit, but Stacy just joined us. She's actually going to be on my show next week, Sunday. I'm super excited about that. Stacy did a 21-year bid for some shit, y'all. Stay tuned for that. I'll talk a little bit about that a little bit. Yeah, so one thing that I didn't kind of get more information on during my research is the history of the mom. Mm-hmm. What her upbringing was like, what it is that she went through. Do a quick Google search right
now.
Do a
quick Google search. Her last name, I'm thinking she's maybe Haitian. Belliveau.
Belliveau is a Haitian last name.
Right.
Which means, that obviously is.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Oh,
which, I mean, honestly,
it really doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, it kind
of.
It doesn't matter. Does it make it okay for what she did? Absolutely not. But I'm curious because I think that maybe one of the things that needs to be he's so beautiful. One of the things that needs to probably be done with these young mothers that are going through these domestic violence is they need to have some counseling and help themselves. Is that something that's in place? Social workers, talk to me. Are you counseling these women as well? Helping them to get their mind right. For a woman that allows herself or that has been in an abusive relationship for so long, she's going through some things mentally as well. So what are we doing to help the woman? Is that a part of the reunification process? Are we really making sure that not only the mother is fit as far as being able to provide a proper shelter for the child, but is she in the right mental state to be able to be a mom after dealing with all the abuse? Because when all you see people, when your life, especially she was abused herself, When your entire life is all you see in your relationships are people being aggressive towards you. That is how people show their emotions, and that is how people communicate with their hands. You know, the tendency is that you kind of raise your child in the
Monkey
same
see, monkey do.
monkey see, monkey too. So are we providing the proper type of, you know, care and assistance and help to these
But at the end of
moms?
the day, who's gonna monitor that? Because the rate of people having children right now and the rate that abused mother are having children right now, is there a way to really
Yeah.
watch over all of them and say, you know what, you were abused, let me make sure that the first year of the baby's life you're not doing anything on the baby. I don't think there's really a way to really monitor that.
There's no way, but as a parent, if you get to that point where you're frustrated and you want to knock your child out like that,
You need to do some counseling.
just
Take
take
a
your
minute,
child
right.
and drop them off somewhere.
Take
Drop
a
them
minute.
off.
Do
Drop
it.
them off somewhere. Like,
Wait, drop them off alive.
Yeah,
alive.
I must say
Not
alive.
everybody's
you're
word.
right. You're right.
Okay.
Alive.
And it's
And somebody's doorstep.
And if
like, hey,
anybody watching
please,
that works
please.
for the Department of Fredecia, like, I need to figure this thing out, because y'all clearly failed this child. Y'all
not only
failed
have you failed this child, but they're
continuing to
Yeah.
fail these kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because y'all dropped this child off to these parents too soon,
Yeah.
with no receipts, no nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and not only that, they still have you know, a rap sheet as far as domestic going on in your household.
It's a mess. You know, it's a mess, and there are so many different things that need to be done. I'm definitely going to be talking to some more of my social workers, just to kind of, for my own sake, just to get more educated on, is there anything that we can do as a people, whether it's, you know, voting or petitioning or, you know, calling in so that, you know, we can protect our children. Do they need more foster homes? Is that what the case
Well,
is?
that's the thing. I think that they can say want to keep paying these foster parents, the parents, because they want to get checks.
So the funding,
And then it's crazy because they wasn't even in for the check, because they wanted to adopt the kid.
they did.
So they're not in it for the money.
They did.
But they just didn't want to pay the foster
They
parents
did.
anymore.
They did.
And they dropped the kid off too soon.
I think the judicial system needs to realize that as much as I understand that you want to give this child the traditional being with his mom, his biological mom, being with his I understand that. But you have to realize that we are in a different place. Society, we are completely a changed society. And sometimes the biological mom and the biological dad may not be the best situation for the kid. And that should be okay as well. And stop trying to push these children back into these homes that are really not fit homes for these children, just for the sake of
save money,
or to say that, you know what, we won, we got them back home. You got them back home to Jesus. That's what you did.
Especially with all the cases that happened just in this past 1 year. How many cases happened this year?
Oh my God.
With the kids dying.
And
the mama dying, and the mama killing them.
The mother being responsible for it.
You know?
Yeah, it's a mess. A lot of controversy around it. Xavier says zero accountability. The blood of that sweet boy is on the system's hands. The caseworker and judge should be charged as well. Xavier, I think you are extremely on point with that. Accountability. Mm-hmm. I think that if we started to probably make some of these people that are impacted or that were a part of these cases a little bit accountable, that maybe people would probably take a little bit more time when they are making these notes, making these decisions. Again, it's sad that it shouldn't be enough that a child's life is at risk if you don't make the right decision. But maybe if you really started to hold these people accountable, whether it be financially, whether it be to, I don't know, am I going too far to saying prison time? I don't know.
No, I think that's correct. I think that you need to, like you said, give people the accountability.
People need to be accountable.
Yeah.
I think people need to be accountable. So that's my thoughts on this beautiful 2-year-old boy. You know,
we're definitely going to follow it. We're definitely going to follow this case. I'm going to follow this case until we see her sentence.
Right. Yeah. I'm really curious to see. I want to do some more research. I want to know more about this.
I would say I'm upset that the second show that we do this, just to show that we're doing here, it has to do with kids.
Yeah.
I'm upset about that.
Another one.
Because this last week we talked about the 2 babies.
Yeah.
I mean, of course the mom as well, but we don't know what happened with that. But I'm trying to talk about the kids.
Yeah.
It's saddening that in a week, 2 things have happened.
Yeah. It's
saddening. This is just
it is crazy. So guys, that's kind of what we have today. We actually have a little bit of an update on.
Oh, we have another team.
We have another team.
The boy that just died, the rapper. What's going on with the rapper?
Oh, okay. So let's take a moment.
What's his name? Okay, first of all,
This is real deal.
my son is a huge empath. As soon as this guy died, he's calling me. I'm thinking somebody that I personally knew died. Whatever. I'll let you do it. Are you okay? Can you talk about it?
I'm fine.
You're fine.
I just know that, you know, Mac Miller was a talented rapper, and he did impact a lot of people's lives with his music and his delivery. And it sucks that he wasn't getting the correct and proper help that he needed for his mental health, and then took his, I won't say he took his life, but he turned to drugs as an aid to help him through his mental health, and obviously he took his life. So I want to say R.I.P. to Mac Miller.
Yeah.
My condolences go out to your family and friends.
Sad.
Side note, leave Ariana Grande alone, because they got nothing to do with her.
They are going for Ariana Grande.
They're going for her next.
Well, because they used to date.
They dated for 2 years, and she broke up with him because they're saying that his mental health
was
plummeted because of the breakup.
No, they didn't leave that alone.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he was doing drugs before that.
She literally said the reason why they broke up was because of this abuse. So he was doing drugs before, and maybe he clearly plummeted after that.
Yeah.
And it sucks that, you know, and I'm not going to say that that's not normal. A lot of people that go through breakups, they turn to the bottle or they turn to some, you know, weed or whatever to try to help them ease the pain. But he was doing something clearly different.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with her. And they can't go for that girl.
No, not at all. I just want to say R.I.P. to Mac Miller, and, you know.
Now, this one, I don't know, we didn't talk to you about this one. So you remember last time that we were on here, we were talking about the gentleman that killed his wife, Christopher Watts, lyrical, and killed his wife and killed his children. So remember when we were talking about it and they were discussing the significant other, and I was saying that they weren't talking too much about the sex of the rumored mistress or Mr.
What you about to say?
So we did a little bit of digging.
So I did a little research.
Oh, sip the tea. This is some tea.
I wasn't here for this one, so I'm gonna sip on my tea.
Mm-hmm.
So, People Magazine, they are claiming,
allegedly, but you know,
that the ex-lover was a man.
Are you guys serious?
Yes. Now, there's a few stories where it's saying that it's a female, so, you know, it's he said, she said, but a story does say that a man did come forward, his name is not named, that they were together for what, 10 months?
10 months.
I'm
and
mad
they were seeing each other.
talked about this.
They were seeing each other on and off. I mean,
I said it. I was like,
But there's another story. I'm not saying this is definite, because no story that said that it was a female. They're talking for 6 weeks prior to the murder, and that they met on Tinder. So he said, she said, but there is a story that says that he.
Like I told you guys, I had a feeling that there was a man involved.
Whatever.
And according to People Magazine,
I'm not gonna slap a label on this man. You know, he was living his life, his best life, clearly.
Whatever.
And, you know, maybe he wanted to dabble in, you know, the eggplant, and that's his business. His business is his own.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. It's Friday. I know a lot of you guys are going to be heading out soon to go and party. Get some more rosé. Okay, so what do we have in tune for you? September 16th, which is next. Mark your calendars. You do not want to miss this. I have, which actually he is on live with us right now. Stacey Lewis. Stacey Lewis, guys, is a young man that did 21 years in prison for a series of extremely violent crimes. He is fresh out of prison, 6 months. Fresh out of prison, 6 months.
I am so excited about this. I am so excited about this.
You guys have no idea. He's going to be walking us through blow by blow from when he was a young kid, some of the things that he experienced up until the actual situation that got him locked up, and all the crimes in between. Murder was actually one of the things on his rap sheet. We're going to be talking. I know, not too much. You're right. And I'm super excited because I found out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that his queen is going to be joining us as well.
About that,
and I'm excited about that. I want to talk to her. I want to know.
If you're watching, hey.
I want to talk to her. I want to know, you know, girl, like her mental state. Her challenges.
She's watching.
She's watching. Hey, girl.
Woman for the world.
She's fine. She's fine. I'm gonna tell y'all that she's fine. But yes, we're gonna be talking to her as well. Amazing show, September 16th, which is next week Sunday at 7 p.m. Next show that we have is going to be on, after that is September 30th. I'm going to be talking to some amazing couples, and we're going to be talking about the different dynamics of relationships. Okay. Some of these couples have open relationships, some of these couples don't, some are married, and we're going to really be talking about what works for people, what works for them, discussing the obstacles, some of the judgment.
This might help a lot of you guys out.
It is.
But you guys
It is. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yeah. And
good job.
Well, we're going to kind of be on it as well. A little bit.
Oh, God. You big on that.
No, I think we have to. I mean, our relationship is, we have a pretty dope story.
Oh, no, we have.
So we're going to be talking a little bit as well. And then on October 14th, this one I'm also super excited about, we're going to be having a woman empowerment show where we're going to be talking to entrepreneurs that are women. We're not only going to be talking about their businesses and how successful they are, but we're going to talk about the things behind the scenes before you even get there, right? So the support or lack thereof from spouses, some of the challenges that they go through, the haters,
because they're out there.
How to deal with those haters, some of the things that you are going to face, how to deal with those. And I think one of the biggest things that prevent people from jumping into their entrepreneurship is fear. So we're going to actually be number one. So we're going to be talking to all of these entrepreneurial women, beautiful women at that, and we're going to be discussing, a little bit about their journey and how they got there, some of their challenges, where they are today.
Will be watching this show. I gotta get
Xavier on the show. We gotta get my message. We gotta get Xavier on the show.
You and wife can come to the show.
Yeah, we might need to have you in the audience live, Xavier. I'm gonna reach out to you. Yes. So guys, we have some really amazing things coming up for you guys. I'm super, super excited. Thank you so much for joining me once again to talk about this young young boy Jordan. This has been amazing. Do you guys have anything to say?
No.
Fuck that hoe up in prison.
I have to say, what's your fellow black man?
What's your closing statement?
Please. Check on your mental state, okay? Talk to your family. Go see some therapists. Make sure that up here is where, although that everybody around us is trying to bring us down, make sure that we good here so we can stand up and beat the power.
Yes, I love myself.
What kind of family? Let's get the music. Thank you, Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Love you guys.
See you guys September 16th. Tune in. Make sure you guys are liking the page. Make sure you guys get in touch with us. Cheers, guys. Maybe you have to cheers with us? Sure. Okay.
All right. Support Nike.
Support Nike. Hey.
Listen. Any of y'all racers want to share your Nike clothes, you can send it up to me.
Send me all your Nike.
I will rock it to the day I die. Hello.
Send me all your Nike.
We don't pay for it.
No. Dirty shit. Dirty shit.
At the end of the day, Nike still got their check.
Okay? All the coins and not more.
And more. Because this is all the talk. You know everybody about Nike.
Hello.
You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. The TV Takeover, My Life Roll, we're all the way live. We have my beautiful partner here, Nancy, with Upgrade Your Party, and my gorgeous son, Marcel, my college student. Thank you again.
Don't exist attention, no comprehension, no feeling. Business fast and my heart's contracting the million. Please don't be a bigot. Radio full of trash. Gotta clear my mind of independent. Bitch, no, I'm going hard. Can you feel my pain? I need